In the hot, dry lands near the border with Mexico is a sight to behold, and it hides a creation that helped America reach for the stars.
We're on the edge of the city of Tucson, Arizona, and right here is a pretty unbelievable scene.
We're looking into a vast spectacle of decommissioned airplanes on a monumental scale. This is the largest airplane boneyard on the whole planet.
And nearby is a site holding the select few that really made a difference.
This is like a greatest hits of aviation history. I mean, all the weird and most effective vessels kind of all in one place.
Stored out here in the desert are all manner of aircraft that were vital to innovation in the 20th century. They won wars, shattered records, and broke barriers. But out here is stored one of the most unique-looking and interesting aircraft you'll ever see.
It looks like a bloated, monstrous whale, and staring at it, it beggars belief that this thing could ever course through the sky.
But looks can be deceiving.
This airplane is one of the most unsung but important aircraft of the 20th century. It made America's single greatest achievement of the 20th century possible.
The sheer size tells us that this was designed to carry some truly heavy cargo, but the real clue as to what this was for lies in the little bumps to the edge of the fuselage.
So what we're looking at here on the side of the airplane are two features that make it really, really unique. In simple terms, they're just basically hinges. The whole front of the aircraft would swing open just like a regular front entrance door to your house, and that enabled the crews to load the cargoes.
Regular cargo planes are loaded from the rear. This approach was a design headache. However, it helps identify what the plane was for.
So the reason is because of the huge diameter of the components they're putting in. They weren't able to get them into existing cargo airplanes through the traditional rear entry points.
What it carried in that big belly, well, you know, it had a huge impact on America. And what they were trying to achieve with this plane was uncharted territory.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
When President Kennedy addressed Congress in 1961, it was clear the Cold War had boiled over into space.
So the space race was an expression of rivalry between the United States, between capitalism and Soviet societies under communism. And this was fought out in many ways, propaganda, sports, but most strikingly perhaps, who could get into space first, who could put a man on the moon.
America, however, was on the back foot.
The Soviets are worryingly ahead. They've put the first satellite into space. They put the first man into space.
This was a huge challenge. Frankly, when he said it, the U.S. was still pretty far from being able to achieve anything like that.
It was against this high-stakes backdrop that the Super Guppy was born.
Everyone's heard of the B-52s, the Spitfires, the stealth bombers, all the things that are kind of powerful and feared. And this is like putting like a trailer truck in the sky to haul things, which sounds less exciting. But when you really dig into the story, you realize that this changed history.
And here we are. This is what it's all about. It's as unique inside as it is from the outside. It's enormous. It's a structure unlike any other aircraft you're going to ever come inside of. The airframe fuselage is 25 feet in diameter here. And from flight deck to the tail, it's a 98-foot length of cargo deck that's 8 feet wide. So in comparison to a regular airliner at the time, or even a cargo carrying aircraft, it's probably better than double the volume.
Super Guppy's payload demanded an exceptionally large aircraft.
It wasn't designed to carry just any cargo. Its mission was very specific. The Super Guppy was purpose-built to carry rocket modules for the Apollo program to get us to the moon.
The deadline for reaching the moon was set, the end of the decade. Time was the new enemy.
One of the biggest hurdles was logistics, especially transporting the components from the West Coast manufacturers to the East Coast, where the launch sites were actually to be found. They were far too big to transport by road and rail, and if you went by ship, it would take 18 days.
Jack Conroy, a former Air Force pilot, teamed up with businessman Lee Mansdorf. Their vision was to build a plane large enough to carry some of these components.
He realized that if you could transport them, you could cut that waiting time from about 2 weeks to 24 hours, and that would give America the crucial upper hand.
So of course, anything that's being done in a hurry for the first time, it comes with risks and it comes with challenges. We were modifying things that hadn't been designed to be modified, and it could have ended very badly at any point in the program.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. To be sure, we are behind, and will be behind for some time in manned flight. But we do not intend to stay behind, and in this decade, we shall make up and move ahead.
By the time Kennedy made that speech in 1962, Conroy had been working on his prototype design of an oversized cargo plane for around a year.
After he came up with his plan, Conroy made general inquiries with NASA. Now, he didn't get a contract, but he did get enough of an enthusiastic response that he decided to go ahead with his plan.
Conroy basically gambled it all. I mean, remortgaging his house, taking out multiple loans, and there were no guarantees from NASA that even if this worked, they were going to use it.
Now, Conroy's first version, known as the Pregnant Guppy, was ready to test.
September 19th, 1962, first test flight. Confidence was the opposite of high. They called the police department, fire department, told everyone to stand by.
Like any innovative first, it attracts an audience, and it attracts a certain amount of doomsayers and doubters, and the Guppy's not unique in that respect. There was a lot of white knuckles and crossed fingers and hopes that it would do what it was designed to do.
But to everyone's surprise, it was a success, and before he knew it, he was flying to NASA